Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Grinstead, author of the book Freedom from Suffering, A Journey of Hope, and someone who's been working with people with addictive disorders for almost 30 years now. I'm very excited to be offering you a way to participate in an exciting two-part series that we're calling the ABCs of Addiction, Recovery, and Relapse Prevention. We're going to start these in January of 2014 here in our beautiful office space in Sacramento, California. And we want to get this word out to anyone who is suffering from an addictive disorder, their family and friends, or anyone working with people in addiction. In part one, I'm going to go really in depth about what is this neurobiologic brain disease all about. I'm going to talk about the progressive stages people have to go through, starting with learning and experimenting, moving into social and recreational, then it becomes habitual and ritual. Then people get into the stage where they start having problems we call substance abuse, and finally when they cross over the line into addiction. And it's very important that we let family and friends know about these workshops because it can be very helpful. One of the major symptoms of the disease of an addictive disorder is it tells people they don't have a problem. It also tells family and friends they don't have a problem until the problem gets really, really big. And then you can't deny it anymore. And then there becomes a lot of shaming, blaming, and anger, a defensiveness, and of course, resistance and denial about getting help. So we're going to talk about all this in part one. In part two, we're going to teach people how to move out of the problem into the solution, what it takes. What are the developmental stages people need to go through in recovery? You know, it starts with the transition stage where usually there's a motivational crisis that gets people knocked back to where they cannot deny they have a problem anymore. Then they move into what we call the transition stage. In transition, they really need to work through their resistance and denial about an addictive disorder, as do family and friends, because family and friends have to go through these same developmental stages. Now, the next thing that happens is once people get it, wow, I do have a problem, I need to stop, I need to get help, and I need to make this permanent. Then they move into what we call stabilization. They need to stabilize from the severe acute symptoms of their addictive disorder and start dealing with the protracted or post-acute withdrawal symptoms. And then finally, they move into what we call early recovery, then middle, late, and ongoing. So we'll talk about all these stages of recovery and what it takes to get through each stage. Then, the exciting part for me is to teach relapse as a process, not an event. You know, it's very scary. When I walk into a room of recovering people or in doing a training for addiction professionals and say, what's your definition of relapse? It says it's when somebody goes back to drinking and using. And my friends, that is a very dangerous definition of relapse, because the chemical use is the last stage of a relapse process. So we're going to talk about all the ways that people get from stable recovery, having that commitment, being grounded, having solid recovery tools in place, to becoming dysfunctional in recovery, and to eventually thinking about drinking or using or actually drinking and using. It's a very exciting two-part series. You know, it's part of our new effort to launch my wife Ellen and I's new venture called Freedom from Suffering Now, where we want to reach out to people who are suffering from addictive disorders, mental health problems, chronic pain, or the combination of any of those. And we want to interact with you in new and exciting ways. So keep coming back to my YouTube channel for more information. If you're watching this video on YouTube, go below so you can see the dates of where these trainings are. And if you want more information, there's also going to be a link to my professional blog to where you can learn even more and how to register and the cost for the trainings and all of that. So please help us get the word out. This is going to be very exciting. And I'm also very excited we're offering for any impaired licensed healthcare provider who is in a diversion or probation program and provides proof, we're going to give them a discount on coming to these workshops. So please join us. In January 18th is our first one, part one, and February 15th is part two. Please remember, freedom from suffering is your right, but it's also your responsibility. So join us and learn how to achieve that freedom from suffering now. Thank you.